Hello, this is Todd Luck, and this is a review of Tarzan Treasure of the Lost City mini playset from Tarzan The Epic Adventures by Trendmasters. This is part of a line in the 90s that put out Tarzan and Edgar Rice Burroughs toys, and there were a lot of figures in this line, but there were also mini playsets, and they were made of each of the Burroughs properties that were in this line. So they have one for Tarzan, which you're looking at, one for Barsoom with John Carter, and then one for the Earth's core. And so this is our jungle playset with Tarzan and the leopard men in it. And it's very small. You can see how big it is compared to my hand. Very nicely packaged. It looks great. I will say, though, the weight of it will kind of rip it from the card back if you try to hang it. So just be aware of that. And on the back, you get to see other play sets that they made, the other little mini play sets. These are Mighty Max style play sets. They're really cool. This is only worth 2 Tarzan points, sadly. I would think it would be worth more since it's a play set, but you know. All right, so let's open this sucker up. So I advise opening it like this, so gravity will hold everything in its packaging so it won't go all over the place, because that is a real possibility with a playset like this. All right, and so here we go. And trying to, oh, okay, it's got one of those little metal rings right there, so you're gonna have to really pull that off. Let's see, okay, so I'm just going to take it all out piece by piece. So we got the top part. Cool, this has a real Indiana Jones and the Temple of Doom vibe. Let's see here, and we're going to take out the bottom part. And that's the bottom half of the playset. That looks really cool. And we are going to take out the top, which has all the little parts. Basically, it's a shell inside of a shell, so you just need to slide the inner shell out. So it took some tearing and scissor cut to get the 2 shells apart, the inner shell from the outer shell. I'd probably recommend just getting the package open and then removing the figures that way instead of getting them to this point, because it was just really hard to get it open without them flying everywhere, and you certainly don't want to lose any of these little bitty pieces. And here's everything that comes in the playset, and we're just going to start with the badge, because if you've watched my reviews, you've probably seen these before. This comes with almost all the toys. This is a gold badge because it's the Jungle series. They make nice display items. You can clip them. And this actually also functions as a holder for our instructions. So the instructions on the Martian playset weren't the greatest, so hopefully these will be a little more accurate. Oops, I knocked over Tantor. Sorry about that, buddy. But anyway, so you get instructions. So between this and the picture on the back of the playset, we should be able to figure out how to put this together. So this playset comes together with a simple mechanism. You've just got some pegs here, and there's some grooves on the inside there that you're just going to slide the pegs into. So it broke. So this little piece on the side that should go into this groove snapped off. So we're just going to try to get the other one in there and try to get it as good as humanly possible and just see if that'll work. So I was able to get the 2 pieces to fit together, but when you try to take them apart, it'll just come apart. They'll fit where they're supposed to, but unfortunately with that broken like that, unfortunately it's just not going to hinge up and down like it's supposed to. And so I've gotten this bottom piece approximately where it should be. I'll probably try gluing the broken piece into there to see if I can fix it, but right now I am just going to keep going on with this review, and we're going to take a look at the individual items that comes with the playset. And so let's start with this altar, and it has elephants carved on it, and it looks really cool. And look at this, kids. it slides open. How cool is that? It slides all the way open. And so you can put stuff in here and you'll put this little bitty elephant idol, and look at all the detail in this little bitty idol. I mean, you can see how small it is compared to my fingers. You know, he's even got something covering his back. He's got his little tusk and his little ears and his little snout and all that good stuff. You can see his two little legs. And, you know, all this little detail in this itty bitty idol, and that's what you're putting in the altar. So there he goes into the altar, and so now he is hidden inside your altar. And so you can see some steps here. These are going to be hidden steps because these are going to go underneath the altar. And so the altar just goes right there, and there you go. There is your altar in its place of prominence for your heroes or villains to get the treasure from. And next up is this really cool throne that's made out of elephant tusks. And you can see like the nice detail in it, including this golden cushion, which is just nice. You know, if you're going to sit on a throne of elephant tusks, you really need a golden cushion. You need that kind of comfort and all that. So you see these two pegs and a hole in the throne. You also have a peg and two holes, so you're just going to match that up on the playset and put that in there. And there you go, you got a throne on your playset. How cool is that? And before we go to the next step, I just wanted to point out just how beautiful this is done. Look at the elephant that's made out of the stones here, the skulls, got a knife here. I think this is probably blood, but it's just really nice. You can see jungle overgrowth here. And then, you know, you can get into the skull here. Just very, very Indiana Jones in the Temple of Doom. You got an elephant carved into the stone over here. You've got the elephant graveyard over here. It's just really, really nicely done. You can see fire coming out of the back there. Just really, really cool looking. So next up is this really nice piece of scenery here. And so this is actually going to plug into a hole right there. And so you're just going to plug that right into that hole, and it's just going to stick out like that. And then we have this vine. It's white instead of green for some reason. Maybe it's a dead vine. I don't know. That doesn't seem very safe, Tarzan. But, you know, Tarzan's a daring guy. So we're going to take this and we are going to loop it into here. And there you go. You got a vine now hanging out of your jungle playset. So next up is this little bitty dropping skull that you're going to put in there. And it looks really cool. I like the way it's painted. It's just kind of menacing. So I went ahead and inserted the skull because it's kind of a pain to do if you don't do it just right. But basically this is an earring for this giant skull sculpture. And so you pull the earring back and insert the skull and then push it forward, and it'll keep the skull in there until you push it out again, and then the skull will drop if you want it to drop on, you know, a figure or something, which is kind of a cool action feature. But as much of a pain as it is to put him in there, I'm probably just going to let him hover there. It looks kind of menacing. It's nice. So let's take a look at the little figurines that come with it. And this is Tarzan, and holy smokes, look at the detail on this guy. You can see all his muscles and everything. That's great. His face isn't painted, but I like that because those little eyes were a bit creepy on the Mars playset. So I think this is just right. I mean, even the knife is painted. It's just a really nice looking little miniature of Tarzan. So you're just going to want to hook Tarzan's hand into this little shape on the vine, and he'll hold onto it just fine, and you can have him swinging around or whatever. So that's really cool that you can actually have Tarzan, you know, holding onto a vine like that. And he really does swing around. Look, kids. Whee! So we also have Tarzan's wife, Jane, dressed for a jungle play date. Very, very nice figurine. This is actually modeled after a 5.5-inch figure that they made a prototype for that they never released. So It's a shame we never got that figure of Jane, but it's cool that at least we got a little figurine of her. And of course, no adventure is complete without the villains. So we have a leopard man, and he's very brightly colored, very nicely detailed. Love it. He's looking around, prowling for his prey. And we also have this other leopard man. He's got a different sculpt, and he has duller colors, but I really like it. It looks like he's kind of commanding the other one. Maybe he's like leopard man middle management or something. And we got us a little witch doctor, and he looks really cool. Look at all the detail, including the detail in the staff. I mean, how great is that? And then we also have Tantor the elephant. And look at how nicely textured he is. His tusks are colored. His eyes are colored. Just really, really nicely done. I wish we got a Tantor figure or vehicle, but, you know, if you can't get that, at least we got a really cool looking miniature. And last but not least is this really cool looking Sheeta the Panther. Gotta love those glowing yellow eyes. Panthers are just a really prominent part of Tarzan along with the elephants. So it's really great that even if we didn't get figures of either of those animals, at least we got the little figurines. All right, so let's talk about the other action features. These spears are supposed to be able to push in and catch, and then you would push the spear back here to make them launch out. I can't get them to catch. I successfully did it once, but I just can't get it to do it again. So it's not that great of an action feature, at least not for me. I just can't really seem to get it to work. The throne, there is a little skull here, and I'm sorry, Tarzan, if you will stand there, and there is a trap door that will open, and your figure can go down into that trap door. He's not going to get too far into there, but it is an option. And this will pull out if you need any help getting your figure out. So little compartment there to go underneath the playset. And since this skull has fallen out several times off camera, let's just go ahead and do the dropping skull. So there's Jane, and boom, Jane just died by a dropping skull. So there you go. There's that action feature. So there's also a hole in the back that you can put your cute little elephant idol in. And so now the elephant idol will be in the eye of your playset there. Barely see him with lighting, but he's in there. And so on the question of does all of it fit in there and you can close it, which was something I couldn't do on the Mars playset. The answer is yes. It will close up with everything in there. You have to disassemble everything and just kind of shove it in those spaces like you saw, but you can get it all in there, which is really cool. So overall, this is not a perfect playset. Obviously, I would have preferred mine not to break while reviewing it, but you know, that may just be this particular one that I got or just the way I handled it. Just be careful if you get it. I didn't have this problem with the Mars Mini playset, so hopefully this is just an isolated incident. A couple of the action features didn't work, but they weren't really action features I cared too much about. The main one that I wanted to see was the vine swinging with Tarzan, and it works brilliantly, and kudos to them for putting that in there. That's just awesome. And I just love all the different details in the figurines and in the playset itself. And the opening altar is just a really cool touch. I mean, this just has Indiana Jones all over it. It's just fantastic. So anyway, I recommend, you know, if you're into Mighty Max playsets or Tarzan, you might want to give this a try. And so this is the final toy that I got in the Jungle series that I'm reviewing. But I did have a bonus pickup at a toy fair last weekend. So that is Horeb the Snake Man from At the Earth's Core. So you're going to get one more bonus review. So join us next time where you will hear the hissing of a snake man, since it is a figure with sound. So join us, like and subscribe for more videos, and I'll see you.